Hey, it's Marvin McKenzie. Wanted to share with you a little review of a recent dinner that my wife and I had at El Gaucho's restaurant in downtown Tacoma. So it was an anniversary type dinner, and it actually wasn't on our anniversary day, but it was a dinner that we had been given, a gift from some folks, so that we'd be able to go out to El Gaucho's. We had never been there before, and we'd been told, a little bit about what to expect, but we'd never been there, so we didn't know what we're getting into whatsoever. Drove downtown. Of course, we knew where it was. We live in Spanaway, and we go downtown Tacoma, so we knew where it was. It wasn't we'd never been in the area or anything like that. But first impressions, we drive down to the area where El Gaucho's is, downtown Tacoma, and turn into the side street where we would be going in for parking. First thing that I notice is valet parking. It's $6 to use valet parking for El Gaucho's. And I didn't realize that was going to be the case. I knew we were going to be downtown Tacoma, but did not realize that there was anything like that. And I frankly did not have any cash with me. Didn't have I wouldn't have been able to use it had I wanted to. Just didn't have any cash. And it wasn't too bad. When we saw that, we pulled down just a little bit farther, and there was some on-street parking. And so it wasn't big of an issue. It was very bright outside, 5:15 in the afternoon. Our reservation was for 5:15. So it's like just a few minutes after 5. Very bright outside, very sunny and nice, and parked about a block away from the restaurant. Got to park just about a block away from the restaurant, and so we got parked. And now we're not in a great part of town, and we know that. We know we're not in a super great part of town. And park the car, check out, make sure we don't have anything valuable that's real visible and so forth in our car. Get out of the car, and the first thing that I see is a sign that says El Gaucho's wants to reduce crime in the area. Please don't leave anything valuable in your car. If you've got anything valuable, let us check it in at the restaurant, and we'll hold it for you till you get back out of the restaurant. So I'm thinking, well, this is a little bit of an issue. That's a little bit spooky. So only about a block, but what if when we get out of the restaurant it's going to be dark? And so I'm a little bit concerned about that. We get in the restaurant, and by the way, I've been to some nicer restaurants where they offer free valet parking. So I kind of, I just thought, well, wow, it's something that they would do that. Anyway, get in the restaurant. Now, as we walked to the front door, my wife said that others had kind of told her, expect it's going to be dark in there. Now, remember, it is very bright outside, and very bright outside. So we get out, we walk in to open the door, walk into the door from the bright sunlight outside into the building, and it's like almost pitch black. It feels like it's almost pitch black inside that thing. If it wasn't for the brightness of the lights outside, it would have felt very much like pitch black, just because of the way it was. So get in there in this very, very dark room. Lady immediately gonna seat us, but we have to walk down a very long flight of steps, very steep flight of steps, and our eyes are still not used to how dark it is. It's a little bit, old enough now. I've got my bifocals and things, and so that was quite the thing. Now we get down to the floor where they're gonna feed us, and I just got to tell you, the table was wonderful. That was absolutely super, and we get our seat, and they bring us out a little bit of bread and bring us some. We ask for a couple of glasses of water, and they give us our water. Everything's cool. It's gonna be fine. They give us our menus, and my wife and I selected. They have 4-course meal option, and so we both selected the 4-course meal option. So we're going to get a starter, we're going to get a salad, we're going to get a main entree, we're going to get and we're going to get a dessert. And that's so we've got this all planned out. We're going to get these 4 things, and so the waiter comes to our table. And I'm going to tell you something. I heard his name over and over and over, and never could pronounce his name. I couldn't ever get it heard well enough that I could pronounce his name. Very, very friendly guy, and so he gives us some recommendations, and I elect to choose his recommendations. I have a crab cake for my first thing. I have a tomato and mozzarella salad. I have the steak El Gaucho, and then the desserts coming a little bit later. I have the steak. So that's what we've got what planning. My wife plans, she's going to have steak medallions, and she's got the truffle soup, and she's also going to get steak El Gaucho, and that's what we've got planning going on there. So the first course comes to the table. And my wife's got this nice plate of little, chunks of their steak medallions. So they're little chunks of steak. And I get this crab cake. A little crab cake. I get this little crab cake. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we can go to Burger King when we're done. We can go to Burger King if we need to. And so we have that first course. Wonderful, wonderful food. My wife, when she finished her first course, she said, you know what? I could be satisfied right now. I could be done right now. I didn't think that. I thought I could use a hamburger. Second course comes. She's got the soup. I've got the tomato and mozzarella salad, which literally is a slice of tomato with a piece of mozzarella on top and some kind of sauce. Delicious, by the way. Oh, so was the crab cake. Delicious. And the tomato mozzarella salad, delicious. By the way, I'm taking the waiter's recommendations. I ordered what the waiter recommended. That's what I choose to get. And so we've got the first course. We've got the second course done, and the steak comes, and it's steak, and I decide to have asparagus as my vegetable. My wife decides to have roasted corn. And so get the steak and the asparagus. Very nice portion of asparagus, and the steak. It's an 8-ounce steak, which is very nice. I get the steak, and about the time I get the steak, then I'm thinking, I may not need to have a Burger King. I might be just fine. And so and by the time I got the steak finished and the asparagus finished, I am doing just fine. I don't need to eat anything. And I'm telling you, very, very good food, and excellent, excellent food. So then they remove the plates. We're done with their steaks. They remove the plates, and they bring a fruit platter to our table. Now, we've not ordered this. They bring this fruit platter to the table. And so my wife and I both kind of looked at each other, and the waiter says, it comes with it. It comes, you can go ahead. It comes with it. And so we had a couple of pieces of fruit kind of before our dessert. We had ordered our dessert. By the way, we ordered our dessert, and then they brought the fruit platter. And so we had a couple of pieces of fruit, kind of clean the palate out a little bit, and waited for our dessert, and had our dessert. And dessert, both of us had cheesecake. Outstanding food. There was kind of a funny thing that went on. So in the middle of this thing, so it's a nicer restaurant, and so they've got the table set just so, and they know it's our anniversary. They've got little rose petals around the table and all this, and they've got the table set just so. And so at one point, I moved my spoon. They got it kind of set close. I moved my soup spoon that I'm not going to use. I moved it off to the side a little bit. The waiter comes back and puts it back where he had it originally. He puts it back where he had it. And so we had our salad. And of course, we used our salad fork. And so he's removed the salad fork. And at this point, another guy comes up, and he resets the table. We get brand new forks and brand new spoons and brand new knives. There's a different knife for every course. A different knife, a different shape of knife for every course. And so we get brand new stuff, and he gets it all set up. And then our waiter comes and didn't quite like how it was done, so he tweaks things around just a little bit. By the way, I don't think it was that he didn't like how the waiter did it. I think he didn't like what I did with the forks and knives after he got done with it. And so he put it all back, and the other guy said, "Oh, did I do it wrong?" No, you're fine. It was okay. And so, I mean, very meticulous care of us this entire time. Spoons, knives, forks, everything's got to be just so. There was a place, came a point, and it was just about the time we were almost finished with our steaks, that it became pretty obvious that our waiter, shall I say, lost interest in us. A larger group came. and he was serving that larger group, and he became quite attentive to them, and all of a sudden, so there was less attention placed upon my wife and I. And I thought, it's a larger group. There's going to be a bigger tip. There's going to be all those kind of things. And we were starting to wind down. And so that was very obvious that we were starting to wind down. But it was real obvious. The water glass that had never been allowed to get half empty now was starting to, it wasn't coming so free, and it wasn't that flowing so freely. And then when we got the fruit tray, I used my fork, I said fruit tray, but it also had cheeses on it. And I used my fork that would have been my dessert fork. I used it to spread some of the cheese onto a cracker. And so now I've got moldy cheese on this fork. And when they bring the cheesecake, they didn't bring me a new fork. Which, again, not a problem for me. And however, it was just interesting because they had cared so very much for us previous to this. They had when the arrangements had been made for us to have this meal, someone had called ahead to find out about what it would cost, and the people that had spoken to them from the restaurant said $200 would easily get the meal taken care of. $200 would work, and our meal was $189 plus the tip. But which I thought was an excellent price, a great meal, great time. Got outside. It was still daylight outside when we finished. It took about an hour and a half for the entire meal. Went out, got to the car without any problems, just a block away, and still light outside, and everything was wonderful. El Gauchos. Now, would I go back again? In fact, I'll just be honest. One of the things my wife said is, this was a fun experience. Don't think I need to do it again. It's a little bit pricey for us. It's not something we would want to pay that kind of price for a meal very often anyway. It was wonderful to do, a wonderful experience, more of a bar type of an atmosphere than I personally care for, much darker in there than I personally care for. There was a live pianist, which was wonderful. It was very classy, very romantic kind of thing, anniversary type of a deal. Wonderful as far as that was concerned. Probably wouldn't go back again unless it was a very, very special occasion and for a very, very special purpose. El Gaucho's restaurant in Tacoma, just my review of how the experience went.